Hello everyone and welcome to another Star Wars figure review. As we continue to take a look at some figures from The Force Awakens, we're going to take a look at some more Build-A-Weapon figures today, and in this review we are going to take a look at none other than this one. This is of course Rey, who is seemingly Finn's counterpart in The Force Awakens. What we know about this character so far is that she is a self-sufficient desert scavenger currently living on the planet Jakku. Obviously at some point in the movie she meets Finn and BB-8 and Poe Dameron and all our other heroes, so it'll be really interesting to see how her character portrays in the film. She is of course played by Daisy Ridley, and so far she looks like a really cool character, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her in action in the movie. Before we take a look at the figure, we are going to take a look at the packaging that she comes in. Once again, she is part of the Build-A-Weapon series, so that we do get an image on the front of the bubble which depicts that Build-A-Weapon part once you've assembled all the pieces. On the side of the card we have a really cool image of Rey standing in the snow. This does appear to be Rey in her Starkiller base attire or appearance, so it would seem that Rey gets around in the movie, and I can't wait to see how that comes about. At the top of the card we've got the Force Awakens logo and a nice, very cool image of Kylo Ren in the corner. On the back of the box we get a rundown of some of the other figures available in the line. So we have the First Order Stormtrooper, Rey herself, and a repack of Darth Vader, because who hasn't got enough of those? We've also got a brief diagram about the Build-A-Weapon parts, which do obviously combine once you collect all the figures in this series, and Rey does come with this middle piece. So I'll take a look at that in just a second. So onto the figure herself, and I must admit she's really cool. Like with Finn, she does only feature 5 points of articulation, but as I've said in numerous reviews in the past, this really doesn't bother me as long as the detail and sculpt and all that sort of stuff are on point, and with this figure they definitely are. She comes with a really nice amount of accessories, her sculpt is really nice, and it's just a really cool figure. Once again, a necessary purchase if you're looking to complete the core character lineup from The Force Awakens, and she really does fit in well. One of the things that I really like about Rey's character so far is that her costume, like with Finn, is very consistent with what we've seen so far in the Star Wars universe. As you'll know, in A New Hope, for example, Luke Skywalker is introduced to us as a farm boy living on Tatooine. So his clothing is very reflective of that lifestyle. The same can be said for Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace. Again, growing up as a slave on Tatooine, his clothing is very tattered, very worn, and again very reflective of his personality and the way he lives his life. And I think that Rey's costume is keeping with that trend. You know, she's wearing this very sort of browny beige robe, it seems. And she definitely looks like she's been living rough. So that's really cool to see. Again, it keeps with the theme of characters who have grown up surrounded by poverty. You know, it's not necessarily a good thing, but you know, it's a nice theme that is consistent throughout all of these characters. So it's really cool to see that with this figure. The costume is captured really nicely in the figure itself, I think. You've got the creases and folds in the robes, you've got the satchels and pouches and all that sort of stuff that she keeps with her at all times. Obviously she's a scavenger, so all that scrap metal and what have you that she finds obviously needs to be stored somewhere, and one of those accessories that you can do that is indeed the backpack, which is a removable piece. You'll see there you've got some adjustable straps, and it's a really nice sculpted accessory. You'll see there you've got a water bottle, it seems, hooked on the side. You've got buckles and pouches all over the back of it. Very minimal paint applications, but a cool accessory nonetheless. In addition to that, we also get Rey's staff, which I believe is known as a quarterstaff, and this appears to be the weapon and accessory that Rey uses in the movie, not only for scavenging but for combat as well. So it'd be really cool to see her in action once the film arrives in December. The head sculpt is very good as well. It captures the likeness of Daisy Ridley nicely, I think. And in terms of articulation, Rey features a ball joint at the head. She has swivels at the shoulders and swivels at the hips. So, you know, reasonable articulation if you know what to expect from some of these figures. One thing to point out is that there is a super articulated release on the way very soon as part of the Walmart exclusive series of Black Series 3 3/4 inch figures. So if you want to hold off and get a super articulated version of this character, then that's the figure to get. However, if you do want to pick this one up now, then you can do so via the link in the video description, which will take you to staractionfigures.co.uk, where she's in stock now and available to buy. So what are you waiting for? Go out and get her. Once again, like with Finn, she's a core character from the movie, so she's a necessary purchase if you want to complete the lineup, and she's a decent figure in her own right. So very recommended figure. I really like this one, and I think you will too. So once again, this is Rey from the Force Awakens Build-A-Weapon series. And before we wrap up this review, I'll just give you a brief look at that Build-A-Weapon piece. Now again, it's a questionable accessory, not really sure of its purpose. From the diagram on the back of the box, it appears to be the centerpiece to a much larger cannon. And these do appear to be the handles and, you know, extra firepower that that cannon has. Although as a standalone piece, it really doesn't serve much purpose. You know, Rey can barely hold it in her hand, and when she does, you know, it just looks, I don't know, a little bit odd, as you'll see. It almost looks like she's combing the beach for metal. So it could be a metal detector, you know, she's a scavenger, so who knows. But there we go. Again, I have my doubts that we'll see this in the movie. It is purely a Hasbro creation for, you know, an incentive to buy all the figures. But these Build-A-Weapon parts really don't convince me. It's the figures that I'm after, and again, this one is very, very cool. So that's going to do it for this review on Rey from the Force Awakens Build-A-Weapon series. And in my next review, we'll be taking a look at a Lego set that, you know, has quite a lot to do with this character. So stay tuned for that. Until next time, as always guys, I want to thank you for watching this review. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. So until then, keep collecting, and as always, may the Force be with you.